Hi everyone, so our video this week around our agenda of trying to make the complex easy to understand is building on from the video last week, which was all about breaking down barriers, brick walls as we call them. So if you haven't watched that video, I would seriously recommend going onto the YouTube channel and just feeding back to last week's video and just watching that. This is now a real follow-on from that, which we call our what if and I need to remember card sets. So once we've found out maybe what's bothering us, one of the things that people can really struggle with who have got an autism ADHD diagnostic profile is being able to self-reflect and be able to then solve the issue. And so it can happen that therefore the issues just keep coming over and over and over again. And it's like, why doesn't this stop? I don't understand. It's why reward charts and those sort of things don't work very well in some situations around rewarding them if they don't do something. That's fine, but if we didn't understand why they needed to do it in the first place, as soon as the reward is over, it's just going to go straight back in and go back into that space. So we can often see really quite significant behaviours before school and after school, as a prime example, where it can be seen that they're just being awkward or defiant when actually they're trying to use their voice with a behaviour to say, I'm really not happy about this, I don't want to go, I'm really quite scared. And especially given the time that we're in now, I think it's quite important to have a look at that and see what we can do to resolve it. So going through the brick wall process first is going to be really helpful to you. So as I say, go back and go through that video. And then you may come up with something like, for example, I don't want to go to school because I'm really worried when I get to school, excuse me, that my TA is not going to be there, my teacher assistant won't be there. And then it's all going to go horribly wrong. So I'm just going to stay at home. I'm going to stay at home and then it's not going to bother me. So I'm going to show that to you by refusing to put my shoes on, refusing to get dressed, trying to delay going in there, or being really disruptive and overwhelmed and what have you, to try and stop you taking me into the playground and going into school. So once you've got that information, that the issue is I'm worried that when I get there my TA is not going to come and meet me at the door, you can then do something about that. Now, we will often come out with phrases, and this particular school did it as well, of, oh, don't worry, we'll always be there. And it's like, yeah, that's great, but you can't guarantee that. Even if you've got a teacher that's really healthy and you know that they're never going to get sick, which is rare, I have to say, for everybody, but they will use that analogy of, but I'm fine, I'm never going to not be there, we'll always have somebody there. But that TA has only just got to get delayed in the classroom by 30 seconds and then they're not at the front door to meet that child, and that child then is not going to trust what has been said to them, and the next day they're going to be, oh, I'm really anxious because I don't know if they're going to be there. They said they would be there, but then they weren't, so I now can't trust that. So as with the analogy that we used in the newsletter about we'll have a plan about how to deal with that fear of not being able to get out of a situation, we need to provide that for somebody who has autism ADHD stroke profile, because their imaginative process won't allow them to solve that on their own. So we need to come up with a plan about what that child can do if they get there and the TA is not at the front door to meet them. So this is just an example, obviously, of 1,000,001 different ways that you can use this resource. So in this particular situation, the little girl had a card, and on the front of the card it said, if I get to school and my TA isn't there, I can. And then there were 3 things I think that she could do. One of them was, I can wait with my mum, I can go into the reception and sit on the green chair, my mum can go and speak to the lady in the office and ask when my TA is going to be there. My TA will be here. So immediately she's got a plan of what to do if she gets there and the teacher and assistant isn't there to meet her. What we then do is, on the reverse of that card, we would write, I need to remember that. And so in this particular instance, it was, I need to remember that my mum will always stay with me until the teaching assistant comes. So we now have a plan of what to do and a reassurance that we're not going to be left on our own if the teaching assistant is not there. And the most important part of that is, instead of us just telling that child that, they have a card that they can read it. Now, if you've got a child who's not at a level to read, you can make that a pictorial solution. You can use widget symbols or just little stickman drawings. They don't have to be anything flashy, all right? And you want to be able to show them that even if something is going to go wrong here, that we already have a solution here. So they can see it, they can keep checking in with that on the way into school. They can read it as soon as they get out of bed in the morning, so that hopefully you have a calmer way of being able to get them ready and out of the door. Remind them again when they leave the door, remind them when they get into the playground. All of those reminders of, it's okay. Remember, mum's not going anywhere, or dad, obviously, whoever it is that drops them off at school. I've got a plan, mum's going to speak to the office, it's all going to be okay. I feel a lot better now about going in, because I can trust that. I can trust that even if something goes wrong, I know that there's a way out of the situation. That as a resource can be recreated over and over and over again. You may have a ring of cards specifically for school, different scenarios where they need reminding that everything's going to be okay. They might need a card about assembly, a card about going to the toilet, a card about paying for their lunch at lunchtime. Do you know what I mean? So it could be anything. And of course, that as a resource can be used not just for school, but for anything that they might be anxious about. So it could be that you have a set of cards that are relevant for going to the dentist, a set of cards that are relevant for going to grandma's, a set of cards that are relevant for being on a bus or even a car journey. It doesn't matter. Whatever the things are that they get anxious about, that you've been able to unpack further because you've done the brick wall, you can now start to problem solve in this way. Now, you've got children that can't necessarily read text, so we've already discussed that they may need something pictorial for that. You've also got children who are 14, 15, who are like hell am I going to be walking around with a set of cards that makes me look like I'm 5, okay? It's the concept that you're using. We know that the concept of that as a strategy works. So you're then going to diversify that as they get older into something that is more age appropriate. So for your teenagers, it may be that they've got those strategies on their phone, right? They may have written a card and you've taken a picture of it and it's then stored in a set file in their phone. So they've already got the access to that. The important thing to remember is you need to make it visual. And you need to make it clear about what the solution is. It really helps with developing independence. So it may be that, you know, if I've got to the bus and I've lost my ticket, I can call my mum, I can do whatever, all right, whatever your solutions are. But they need to be able to see a solution. It's really important that it's visual. So it could be a card, it could be photos on their phone, it could be something on their iPad, it could be whatever is going to work for them, which is why, as we've said, these things are not age relevant. You can diversify the delivery of the strategy for someone who's 5 to someone who's 55. Okay, it's the ethos and the concept that we know works. It's then about it making sense for you and the person that is trying to build this together for themselves. So, as always, I'd love to hear your comments under the video. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It makes a really big difference to us. And if you've got any questions at all, either leave them under the video and someone will get back to you, or you can email us on info@autismandadhd.org, where we would be more than happy to help you. Take care and look after yourselves, and we'll be back again next week with another video. Thank you.